Welcome to this Educator training session for the UEFA OUTRAGED Toolkit. My name is Jason Webber. I'm the Senior Equality, Diversity, Inclusion and Sustainability Manager at the Football Association of Wales. In terms of the training session content and aims, we'll be split into two parts. Part one will very much focus on providing an introduction and overview to the UEFA OUTRAGED documentary and its accompanying education toolkit. Part two will focus on you as the educator, so how you can use the Outraged Toolkit and providing some guidelines on delivering an outraged education session. So let's get into part one. So the UEFA Outraged documentary was first launched in December 2020. The aim of Outrage is to showcase the experiences of some of the biggest names in football and share their thoughts on the best way to help eradicate discrimination from the sport. An educational toolkit to accompany the documentary was developed in 2023. So Outrage has a range of targeted topics which specific content has been created for. These include homophobia, refugee discrimination, sexism, racism, online abuse, and disability. So in terms of the video content, so Outrage, the original documentary, which is a 25-minute video, is a summary video that covers the topics that we've just mentioned. In more recent times, UEFA has launched 6 additional individual targeted topic videos, which range from around 10 to 15 minutes. All of these videos can be accessed on pawb.cymru/resources or on uefa.tv. These cover all of the 6 topics that we've discussed already. So in terms of the targeted audiences for this toolkit, very much kind of focus around coaches and parents or staff or sort of volunteers at your clubs as well. The anti-discrimination sessions then aiming to engage and discuss the topic as well as those roles and responsibilities within football. Furthermore, specific sessions then targeted towards youth and young adults in terms of players. Again, focus on anti-discrimination session, aiming to engage and discuss discrimination in general, and obviously then the topic-specific sessions then aiming for further discussions and engagement on the various forms of discrimination that exist within those 6 videos of this toolkit. So part 2 then, moving on to delivering an outrage education session. So first and foremost, the club, you need to appoint somebody who is the educator. Now, across the Outrage Toolkit, the individuals set to lead the sessions are referred to as session managers who operate as an educator. The session manager should be confident in working and leading discussions on discrimination with the relevant target audiences that we've already mentioned, while also being well versed in the systems in place within the club. In terms of the role of the educator, it's very much to facilitate discussions around the targeted topics based on the outrage videos. Educators needed to be prepared for individuals to share their thoughts and experiences and engage in conversations around the targeted topics. Educators should also familiarize themselves with the outrage videos and toolkits before delving into any sessions and delivering them. So thinking about having the opportunity to watch the videos yourself, if you're the educator, of course, and being familiar very much with the contents and the structure of the sessions within the toolkit. In terms of session planning, in terms of venues and times of how you can deliver this, so sessions can take place at the club, or if you don't have your own clubhouse or facility at your stadium or ground, then again, linking up with a local venue or a local community group to allow you to access that facility. In terms of when sessions can occur before or after training, or even sort of doing training sessions as well. So while players are taking part in sessions and parents are obviously there watching, or you could invite them in to deliver a session directly to that target audience as well. And in terms of how, again, this can be done as a whole group, whether you do a specific age group in terms of large groups, or you could split it up into smaller groups and kind of have that sort of circle time and more intimate sessions to discuss some of the content and questions within the toolkit as well. In terms of the agenda, so each session that is featured within the UEFA Toolkit has recommended agendas which sets out the sort of structure of the session in terms of the introduction, watching the videos, having that group discussion, feedback from participants, setting a commitment, and then also the closing of the session as well. So again, these are featured within the toolkit and have specific ones for each of the sessions, target groups, or the topic-specific sessions that are included as well. So this is an example of one of the delivery resources within the toolkit. So it includes instructions for educators delivering a session to each of the target group audience and also for each target topic. The template presentations are available to download from the Power.Cymru website to assist in the session delivery. But also thinking about, particularly if you're delivering them in person within a venue, obviously having things like a TV screen or a projector, laptop computer, and then possibly some flip chart paper and pens for the group work for groups throughout the discussion to make some notes or some mind maps that they can then use to feed back to the group or to you as a session manager and educator as well. In terms of that session delivery, it's really important that we kind of set that safe place and set in that right environment from the start. Again, use the participants, whether they be players or parents or coaches, to set what are the rules and the expectations of the session from regards to their commitment, their involvement within it, but ensuring that people are comfortable with sharing their own thoughts, their own experiences, and ensuring the environment is right based around the discussions and conversation that you have as an educator. With regards to the video, again, you can watch it live during the session, or even you could send out the links to the videos for participants to watch prior to attending the session, which might give you a little bit more time either for the discussions or to have a shorter session if time is a bit more constraint for your setting as well. But very much sort of providing that opportunity then based on the videos that they would either pre-watched or watched during it, using the template question conversation starters in the Outrage Toolkit, or that's on the presentation slides that you have access to start those conversations within that targeted group during the sessions as well. And as an educator, it's just kind of reacting off what people are saying, kind of probing them to dig a little bit deeper to think about the impact that discrimination can have on people, and based on those specific conversation starters that are provided as well. And again, there's some additional sort of guidance and notes within the UEFA Outrage Toolkit for educators to sort of ensure that you're encouraging and generating discussion within the group that you're delivering to as well. So at the end of each session, there's the opportunity for participants to have a commitment. So thinking about all the information and key lessons that they've learned and setting 3 key actions that they will think about or sort of do going away from the session. These cards can be printed out so they can take them away with them. You could even display them within the club, particularly if it's for players. There's part of that kind of group commitment. And this can be done individually or even collectively as a group as well. Now, based on the conversations that you had, particularly if you started out by just using the summary video of Outrage before you've gone into specific topics, if there's particular areas or you kind of acknowledge that there's a lack of understanding in particular areas, whether it be sexism or racism within the group, or even certain attitudes that might exist within the targeted group that you're delivering to, again, this could be a great opportunity then to acknowledge that and identify that, and then follow up with future sessions that could be very specific on one of the targeted topics. So that would be the advice, to start out with the outraged video, the summary, and the sort of generic presentation to that target group, and then identify what are some of the specific areas that you can focus on and then deliver future sessions on as well. And of course, after you've delivered the overall outraged summary video and that sort of introductory session, you could even deliver each of the 6 follow-up sessions as that ongoing learning throughout the season or moving forward as well with that targeted audience to your club. Now, I appreciate that quite often, particularly clubs at grassroots level, might not have a venue or even have the finances to be able to pay for a venue to have. So just kind of thinking outside of the box a little bit. So as we've already mentioned, if you don't have access to a venue, you can still ask participants to pre-watch the outrage videos, send out the links to those videos at home, for example, and then thinking about, can you try and integrate some questions and discussions based on the targeted topics or the sort of areas and key questions of outrage as part of your training session. So whether that be as a group, sort of before or after training sessions, or even kind of during it. So with small groups when players are taking natural breaks and rest to have a water break, for example, using some of those questions that are provided based on the videos, or just having a conversation around their thoughts on what they felt watching the video, what were the key things that they took from it or learned. So again, it's a way that you can integrate education from a practical perspective, even if you don't have a venue to sit down and have a more traditional workshop done inside. So being really creative on how you can try and use this toolkit to still educate and have those discussions with players, even if it's out on the pitch as well. In terms of further support, You can visit poub.cymru or also go onto the UEFA.com website /inside UEFA /sustainability, where all of the resources sit on there as well in terms of the presentation templates for each of the targeted areas, the specific sessions and targeted groups, as well as the toolkit itself. And again, if you have any questions or queries on delivering these sessions as an educator or integrating this education program as part of your program at the club, please contact us at poub@few.cymru. Thank you for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the session and took it and got some more confidence in terms of having a better understanding of the toolkit and how you can deliver it as an educator in your settings to the targeted groups based on the targeted topics as well. Thank you very much.